In this video, you're going to understand a simple truth. The problem isn't just earning money. The problem is leaving all your money idle without a mission, while inflation reduces your purchasing power and time passes. Many people work, receive their salary, pay bills, save a little in the bank and believe they're building wealth. But saving money without strategy may bring security, but it doesn't create financial freedom on its own. If you want to build wealth, you need to learn to direct part of your income toward things that can grow, generate cash flow, and work for you. And the first step starts now. 1. Build a business or an additional source of income. The first investment is creating a source of income beyond your salary, because depending on just one payment per month is living with only one door open. If that door closes, your entire financial life is at risk. A salary can pay your bills, but it can hardly build freedom on its own if every month you just work, get paid, and spend. That's why the question you need to ask is, how can I use part of my time, knowledge, or skill to create a second source of income? You don't need to quit your job to get started. That's the mistake many people make. The person thinks that to become an entrepreneur, they need to abandon everything, take on an enormous risk, and start from zero. But the smarter path is to keep your main income while building something in parallel, calmly, strategically, and with discipline. It could be a digital product. It could be a content channel. It could be affiliate marketing. It could be an online store. It could be private tutoring. It could be consulting. It could be service provision. It could be any skill that solves a problem for other people. What matters is starting small, but starting. Maybe at first this extra source generates only $100 a month, then $300, then $500. Maybe it takes time. But when you create a second stream of money, your mindset changes. You stop depending entirely on your salary and start seeing opportunities around you. According to Robert Kiyosaki's principles, whoever wants to escape the rat race needs to stop just trading time for money and start building assets. And a business of your own, even a small one, can be the beginning of an asset. Because if you create something that sells, serves customers, generates orders, produces content, teaches, provides a service, or solves problems, you begin building an income machine. At first, that machine still depends heavily on you. But over time, it can be improved, organized, and turned into something bigger. The secret is using your free time with intention. Many people finish work and use all their remaining hours just for distraction. They rest, scroll their phone, watch videos, complain about their salary, and wait for next month. But whoever wants to build wealth needs to set aside part of that time to create something that can change the future. 1 hour a day may seem like little, but 1 hour a day for 6 months can build a skill. It can create a product. It can get a small business off the ground. It can start a channel. It can attract the first customers. The first point is this: don't depend only on your salary. Use your salary to maintain your base, but use part of your time and knowledge to build a new source of income. Because whoever depends on a single income lives vulnerable. But whoever builds a second source starts gaining more freedom, more security, and more power of choice. Before moving to the next point, I want to make an invitation to you. If you want to keep learning and take your financial life to another level, become a member of the channel. As a member, you'll be able to receive a free ebook to study more calmly and better organize your next steps. Besides that, you'll also be able to join our exclusive Telegram group, where there will be people who share the same goal: to grow, learn, invest, build businesses, and build a better financial life. Because when you walk alongside people who want to grow, your mindset changes. You stop feeling alone and start being in an environment that strengthens your discipline, your focus, and your vision for the future. So click become a member, receive your free ebook, and join a community of people who want to grow together with you. 2. Invest in financial education. The second point is investing in financial education, because it's no use earning more money, creating extra income, or starting a business if you still don't understand how money works. Many people work for years, receive a salary every month, pay bills, use credit cards, make installment payments, save a little when they can, but never studied the logic behind money. And because of that, they keep making decisions in the dark. Robert Kiyosaki teaches that money has a kind of language of its own. While most people think only in terms of salary, bills, installments, and financing, whoever develops financial intelligence starts thinking in terms of assets, liabilities, cash flow, passive income, taxes, investments, leverage, and financial freedom. This change in language changes the way you see life. Before, you look at your salary and think, what can I buy? After learning financial education, you start asking, how can I use this money to build something bigger? Before, you look at a debt and only think about whether the installment fits in your monthly budget. After, you start asking, is this debt helping me buy an asset, or is it just financing consumption? Before, you see an opportunity and jump in out of excitement. After, you start analyzing risk, return, time frame, cost, taxes, and whether it really makes sense for your plan. That's why financial knowledge is so important, because money in the hands of an unprepared person can disappear quickly, but money in the hands of someone who understands the game can be directed toward growth. And here's the point. Financial education isn't just reading one book and stopping. It's an ongoing process. You can study books, watch classes, follow experienced investors, learn about budgeting, understand compound interest, study different types of investments, and observe how successful people make decisions. But it's not enough to just consume information. You need to apply it little by little. Learn about budgeting, organize your salary, learn about assets, start identifying opportunities, learn about investments, study before putting in money. Learned about debt, stop using credit without strategy. Learned about extra income, test a small idea, because knowledge without action just becomes theory. The second point is this. Before trying to get rich, learn how money behaves. Don't invest in what you don't understand. Don't follow quick promises. Don't hand your money to just anyone because they talk nicely. Develop your own capacity to think. The more you learn, the better your decisions become. And when your decisions improve, your salary stops being just money to survive on and starts becoming a tool to build wealth, freedom, and new opportunities. 3. Buy assets that generate cash flow. The third point is starting to direct part of your money toward assets that generate cash flow. And here's one of the greatest lessons associated with Robert Kiyosaki. An asset puts money in your pocket, while a liability takes money out of it. This sentence seems simple, but it completely changes the way you see money. Many people think they're getting rich because they bought expensive things. They buy a better car, a bigger house, modern gadgets, brand-name clothes, and objects that give a sense of progress. But if all of that only generates installments, maintenance, taxes, fees, and more expenses, maybe they aren't building real wealth. It might look like growth on the outside, but inside, it might just be more financial weight. An asset works differently. It has the potential to generate income, increase net worth, or produce money over time. It could be a rental property, a small business, an investment that pays returns, a digital product, a machine that generates revenue, a stake in a company, or any structure that puts money in your pocket continuously. The most well-known example is income-generating real estate. The house you live in may be important for your security and comfort, but it's not necessarily a financial asset if it only takes money from you every month through financing, taxes, maintenance, and bills. A rental property, on the other hand, when well bought, well managed, and generating rent above costs, can function as an asset because it produces cash flow. The difference is in the money coming in or going out. If every month that possession requires money from you, it weighs on your budget. But if every month it puts money into your account after covering expenses, it starts working for you. That's why you need to learn to look at each purchase with more intelligence. Before spending, ask, will this generate income, or will it just create more expenses? This simple question can protect you from many bad decisions, because the goal isn't to accumulate things. The goal is to build sources of income. At first, maybe you can't buy a property. Maybe you don't yet have money for big investments, but that doesn't mean you should stay still. You can start by studying. You can start with smaller investments. You can start by creating a service. You can start by developing a digital product. You can start by buying tools that help you generate income. What matters is changing the direction of your money. Instead of using your entire salary for consumption, set aside a part to build something that can produce a return in the future. And be careful, don't try to invest in everything at once. Many people learn about assets and get excited. They want to buy real estate, stocks, cryptocurrencies, funds, start a business, create a digital product, and do everything at once. But whoever tries to embrace everything without understanding anything can end up losing money. Choose one or two strategies to study in depth. If you want to invest in real estate, learn about location, rent, costs, financing, vacancy, and maintenance. If you want to invest in financial markets, learn about risk, time frame, diversification, and consistency. If you want to create a business, learn about customers, sales, margin, and cash flow. Because a real asset needs to be understood. It's not enough to buy something and call it an investment. You need to know whether it truly has the capacity to generate income. The third point is this: use part of your money to build assets that generate cash flow. Start small, study, understand the risks, and move forward with patience. Because whoever only buys liabilities needs to work more and more to sustain their own lifestyle. But whoever starts buying assets builds, little by little, a life in which money also starts working. 4. Get out of the rat race. The fourth point is getting out of the rat race. This expression, closely associated with Robert Kiyosaki's teachings, represents that cycle in which a person works, gets paid, pays bills, buys things, takes on installments, and goes back to work again just to keep everything running. It's a routine that seems normal to many people. The person wakes up early, spends the day working, receives their salary at the end of the month, pays rent or a mortgage, credit card, transportation, food, household bills, installment purchases, and when they realize it, the money is gone. So they wait for the next paycheck to repeat it all over again. The problem is that in this cycle, the salary never turns into freedom. It just becomes fuel to survive one more month. And the most dangerous part is that many people stay trapped even when they start earning more. They get a raise and soon increase their standard of living. They buy a more expensive car, move to a bigger house, take more trips, take on new installments, buy more comfort, and start living as if that raise were permission to spend more. But in the end, they still have no wealth. The salary went up, but expenses went up too. Income grew, but freedom didn't grow along with it. The person earns more, but remains dependent on the next paycheck. This is the rat race. It's running a lot, working a lot, getting very tired, but staying in the same financial place. And to get out of this cycle, you need to change the direction of your money. Instead of using every income increase to increase consumption, use part of that money to build systems, investments, and sources of income that can work for you. When you earn more, don't just think, what can I buy now? Think, how can I turn this money into something that generates more money in the future? This question changes everything, because a person trapped in the rat race uses their salary to pay for the past and consume the present. A person who is building freedom uses part of their salary to buy the future. She creates a reserve. She invests in financial education. She develops skills. She builds extra income. She buys or creates assets. She reinvests her earnings. She reduces dependence on a single source of income. This is the path. Getting out of the rat race doesn't mean stopping work immediately. It also doesn't mean abandoning responsibilities or living as if money didn't matter. It means starting to build a structure in which, little by little, your life doesn't depend exclusively on the hours you sell every day. At first, maybe you'll still need to work normally. Maybe you'll stay in the same job. Maybe you'll still have bills to pay. But the difference is that now you're using part of your income to build a way out. You're not just surviving the month, you're planting. A small investment might seem small today. A skill studied for 1 hour a day might seem small. Extra income of $100 or $200 at the start might seem simple. A digital product, a service, a channel, a small business, or a monthly contribution might seem slow at first. But all of this starts breaking the total dependence on your salary. And that's the big change. The average person works for money and then spends almost all of it. The person getting out of the rat race works, but uses part of the money to build something that can also generate income. Over time, those small assets start growing. Extra income improves, investments grow, knowledge gets stronger. The person starts seeing better opportunities. And little by little, the salary stops being the only source of security. This process requires patience. Many people want to get out of the rat race quickly, but don't want to change the habits that keep this cycle running. They want freedom, but keep spending everything. They want to invest, but don't study. They want extra income, but don't use their free time with intention. They want wealth, but keep buying liabilities. That's why getting out of the rat race requires a decision. You need to stop using all your money just to keep up appearances, immediate comfort, and repeated consumption. You need to set aside a part to build assets. You need to turn knowledge into action. You need to learn to make money circulate back into growth, not just into expenses. Imagine someone who receives their salary and every month sets aside a part for extra income, another for investments, and another for education. At first, it seems like nothing big is happening. But after months and years, that person is no longer in the same place. They have more knowledge, more reserve, more opportunities, and maybe even a second source of income up and running. Now imagine another person who earns the same salary, but spends it all. They might even look better for a while, but they remain tied to the next paycheck. The difference is in the direction. The fourth point is this: get out of the rat race by changing the destination of your money. Don't use every income increase to increase consumption. Don't turn every paycheck into just another month of survival. Don't let your life depend forever on a single source. Use part of your income to build systems, assets, and opportunities that keep producing value even when you're not directly working. Because financial freedom isn't born just when you earn more. It begins when the money you earn starts building something beyond the month's bills. Why? Use credit intelligently and keep learning through practice. The fifth and final point is understanding that credit and debt aren't always bad. The problem is using debt without knowledge, without strategy, and without control. Many people use credit for consumption. They buy things that generate no return, finance momentary desires in installments, fund a lifestyle beyond their means, and then spend months or years paying interest on something that has already lost its value. This type of debt weakens. It takes money out of your pocket every month, reduces your freedom, and makes you work today to pay for yesterday's decisions. But there's another type of debt used productively, with a lot of knowledge, planning, and discipline. The difference lies in where the money goes. If you borrow money to buy something that only generates expenses, that can become a prison. But if you use credit to acquire or build an asset capable of generating more money than the cost of that debt, then there's a strategy. Even so, this requires a lot of care. For example, imagine someone financing a rental property. If the rent received covers the expenses, covers the financing, handles maintenance, and there's still money left over at the end of the month, that property can become a cash flow asset. But if the person buys without calculating, without studying the area, without analyzing costs, without considering vacancy, and without understanding the risks, what seemed like an investment can turn into a problem. That's why productive debt isn't about going out and borrowing for just anything. It's knowing how to do the math. It's understanding risk. It's knowing the asset. It's calculating return. It's having a reserve. It's having an exit plan. It's knowing what could go wrong before getting in. Robert Kiyosaki talks a lot about using money and resources intelligently, but that should never be confused with recklessness. Debt can accelerate wealth building when used well, but it can also destroy your financial life when used out of emotion. So, before using credit, ask, will this put money in my pocket, or will it just take money away from me? This simple question can prevent many traps. If the debt serves to buy appearances, be careful. If it serves to sustain consumption, be careful. If it serves to cover a lack of planning, be careful. But if it's tied to a real asset with studied cash flow, a safety margin, and calculated risk, then it can be part of a more advanced strategy. And here comes an essential part. Keep learning through practice, because wealth isn't born from theory alone. You can read books, watch videos, take courses, and listen to advice, but at some point you need to apply it responsibly. You learn by doing, you learn by testing, you learn by making small mistakes, you learn by correcting quickly, you learn by watching the numbers, you learn by analyzing opportunities as an owner, not just as a consumer. A person with a consumer mindset looks at money and asks, what can I buy? A person with an investor mindset asks, how can this generate a return? This shift is powerful. When you start thinking like an asset owner, you start seeing the world differently. A property isn't just a nice house. It can be a source of rent. A skill isn't just something you know how to do. It can become a service, a product, or a business. A content channel isn't just video. It can become an audience, trust, and income. A loan isn't just easy money. It can be risk or a tool depending on how it's used. The fifth point is this. Use credit intelligently and keep learning through practice. Don't use debt to sustain a lifestyle that produces nothing. Use knowledge to identify real opportunities, calculate risks, and build assets responsibly. In the end, the message of this video is simple. Wealth begins when you change the destination of your money. Instead of working, getting paid, and spending it all, you start directing part of your income toward financial education, businesses, cash flow assets, and productive investments. You build an additional source of income. You invest in knowledge. You buy or create assets. You get out of the rat race, and you learn to use credit intelligently without acting on impulse. This is the path to making your money work for you. It's not instant wealth. It's not an easy promise. It's not magic. It's education, strategy, patience, and repetition. If this video made sense to you, like it, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who needs to learn how to make better use of their own salary. And write in the comments, I'm going to put my money to work for me. Make that phrase a commitment to your future, because whoever uses all their money just to consume stays tied to the next paycheck. But whoever learns to turn income into knowledge, assets, businesses, and cash flow starts building a life with more freedom, security, and choices.